Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 23rd of June and welcome to the Hindu newspaper analysis. So friends, in the today's video we are going to discuss the entire Hindu newspaper along with the background as well as the way forward in the articles. Now guys, you can download the PDF, the explainer PDF from the Telegram channel. The link for the Telegram channel is given in the description box. Now before that, first of all, let's see the overview of the entire newspaper in order to understand that which articles are going to be relevant for our exam. So here we can see that first of all the political articles have been given. You don't need to see such kind of things. Earthquake kills over 1000 into the East Afghanistan. Basically with respect to the UPSC, much of substance is not there. Now guys, here we can see that the Prime Minister has emphasized that the digital economy of India has a lot of potential, it has a lot of scope. So guys, with respect to the GS paper number 3, we are going to see this particular article. After that, demolitions lawful, UP government tells the Supreme Court. So few days back we have seen couple of articles pertaining to the bulldozer justice that is going on and how it violates Article 300A of the Indian Constitution, how it violates the right to life, because within the right to life, right to residence have been given by the repeated Supreme Court judgments. Many such judgments we have seen. In that aftermath, we have also seen that as these demolitions were going on, the Supreme Court has asked the UP government that they need to bring the restraint and the demolition should not be retaliatory. Now the government had said that no, they are not retaliatory, they were just the due procedure was followed and all such kind of things. However, nothing is there in this article with respect to the exam. Okay, now this article, 4 new corals recorded from Indian water. So guys, this is new. Why? Because Azus enthele corals have been found. Now what are they with respect to environment? We'll see it. Then moving on, the city section, political news etc have been talked about, all these kind of things. Nothing is important, please don't see. Fine, directly will be reaching here to the page number 5. Now on the page number 5, the protest against move to shift proposed heritage park in Manipur. So guys, with respect to the places in news, fine, we'll see this particular article what it is all about. Then coming to the editorial page, now the first article talks about the role of caste in the economic transformation. A very important article, good article for both GS2 as well as GS3. We'll see this article. Then heal the nation before healing the rest of the world. This article also will be important for the health sector. We'll see. High office, this article talks about the basically the endorsing of the presidential candidate by the ruling party. We'll see briefly what this article is talking about. No cause for alarm. Now this article talks about the rising number of COVID cases and it provides that now what we need to do, the government basically again we need to bring the masking and all these kind of things in the limelight. Fine, but for exam nothing is there, just cases rising and all these things are mentioned. Then towards a single low tax regime, so we'll see some of the reforms in the GST that has been proposed here. Crypto came tumbling after. So guys, in the past few days many articles are coming that the cryptocurrencies, the bitcoins, the Ethereum, all of them are falling. So guys, it is just being said that the fall was the fall which is right now, it is predictable, nothing new is happening. Fine, in the lockdown when the people started stashing their money into these cryptocurrencies, they rise. Now as the global economy is not in a good condition, they are coming, lot of people are losing their money. Fine, however guys, much of substance is actually not there. Then coming to the text and the context section. Now in the text and the context, this particular article talks about understanding the bird strikes and aviation safety. So they are telling that okay, the birds are getting hit with the airplane, how many percentage of birds are getting hit at what time, land off, take landing, take off, climbing period, where they are striking, that percentage, all these kind of things have been given, which types of birds, how many percentage of vultures, and all these things are there. In a nutshell guys, this article is not important for our exam, such things are not very much relevant, so you don't need to go in it. Then in the text and the context, how the Trinamool Congress sustained powers in West Bengal, again a political article. So in the text and context, relevant articles are not there, please don't waste your time. Okay, then the page number 10 entirely filled with the political news, Riya Chakrabarti case, all these kind of things. Fine, again the basically digital economy has been mentioned. Fine, then guys, moving on in this particular direction. After that guys, here we can see that Prime Minister to attend the G7 summit in Germany. Fine, then guys, on to the world page, India Russia should have direct trade and investment agreement. So this is a kind of a interview with an industrialist Oleg Deripsaksa. Fine, or basically such kind of thing is there. Fine. Then moving on, then again Russia Ukraine war is going on. Then guys, onto the business page, no option but to raise interest rates, RBI. So guys, recently we have seen that the RBI has raised the repo rate after admitting that inflation is a big problem. Now every day the Reserve Bank of India is justifying that we have to raise the interest rate and all such kind of things. Every day the same statement is being made. Fine. Then rupee touches, all these kind of things. Fine. The volatile information is there. You don't need to remember these kind of things because every coming day these things are going to change. Fine. India reports a current account deficit of 1.2%. Fine. So basically the trade deficit is widening. We are actually importing more of our goods. Even basically what has happened, the global crude oil price has increased. So what has happened, at the end of the day we need to pay more for even for the same imports even. So at the end of the day current account deficit is widening. But guys, again I'll say that you don't need to go again too much into the detail because this data, this number will drastically change by the time you'll be writing your exam. Fine. So guys, this is all about the overview of the newspaper, and now let's take all these relevant articles one by one in the detail. Now, so starting up, so first of all guys, as we start our every class with the GS quote that we take, which could be used in one of our papers. So today we'll be taking the quote from the Albert Hubbard. So Albert Hubbard has given a very beautiful quote. He says that the responsibility is the price for the freedom. So if you want to have the freedom, the responsibility will come along with that. Responsibility is an essential price. However, people often don't understand this particular thing. They want an absolute freedom, an unfettered freedom, and at the same time they don't want to have any of the responsibility. However, such a kind of thing cannot exist. If you want freedom, responsibility will be the essential cost that is to be paid. Now this particular quote could be used in GS paper number 2, as well as in the GS paper number 4, ethics, integrity and aptitude. Fine. Because ethics is the only thing which will make you realize the responsibility is an essential cost. Now moving on. So guys, first we'll be taking the article from the page number 1, where the Prime Minister has emphasized on the role of the digital economy. Now guys, this particular article could be important or can be used in answers of the GS paper number 3. Fine. That is the Indian economy. Within the Indian economy there are certain low hanging fruits that we have. Okay, so Indian economy, the low hanging fruits in Indian economy, or the dimensions or the sectors of Indian economy which can provide a large number of economic impetus. Fine, there the example of digital economy can be used. So guys, directly here we will be extracting the statements, will be extracting the views that have been given by the Prime Minister, and you can put it in your answers that recently Prime Minister has emphasized such kind of thing. It provides the credibility to our answers. Now guys, first of all, when we talk about the present times, you know this particular thing that driven by certain technologies such as, I'll tell you background first. See, the 5G is coming now. Even the spectrum allocation for the 5G has been cleared by the Union Cabinet. So with the coming of 5G, with the coming of artificial intelligence, with the coming of machine to machine communication, is it clear? What has happened? The digital technologies have got a kind of an enhanced impetus. Now all these particular sectors are going to provide employment to large number of people. Presently, if I tell you, according to the periodic labor force survey of 2020 and 2021 that we have seen, still unemployment rate in India is more than 4%, which is way higher than what has been there into the past few decades. Right now, more than 40 years of worst unemployment we are facing. So in this digital sector, digital economy can employ a large number of people, can generate a large number of revenue, can actually provide a boost to our GDP. So according to the Prime Minister, it has been said that India's digital economy as well as the infrastructure sector, in total they have a potential of $2.5 trillion, which is very much huge. Guys, we want to make India a $5 trillion economy, and $2.5 trillion potential is only in the two of the components, that is the digital economy sector as well as the infrastructure sector. Now this particular statement has been made as the BRICS Minister Forum. Now guys, it has been provided that actually if we talk about only the infrastructure sector, there is the opportunity of $1.5 trillion under the National national infrastructure pipeline. Now guys, under the national infrastructure pipeline, government has decided to spend more than 1 lakh crore rupees, okay, 100 lakh crore rupees for this particular project. Now it has been said that at the same time, the digital economy will reach the valuation of 100 and trillion, sorry, the valuation of $1 trillion by 2025. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that we have seen that India has more than 100 unicorn startup. What are the unicorn startup? Unicorn startups are those whose valuation has exceeded $1 billion. So we have more than 100 unicorn startups. We have more than 70,000 startups in total. All of them are oriented towards digital technologies. So in a way, the digital economy is getting a lot of boost, and still there is a lot of potential. Moreover, guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the India is at right now, at the same time, India is having exceptionally young population also. We are going through the phase of demographic dividend, and this young population is even more suited to contribute into the digital economy, whose potential will reach 1.5 trillion, whose potential will reach $1 trillion by 2025. So guys, these are certain low hanging fruits that we need to emphasize. Now these statements have been made by the Prime Minister at the BRICS Business Forum, and guys, today, that is the Thursday, Prime Minister is also going to address the BRICS virtual meet, which have been hosted by the China in the aftermath of the Russia-Ukraine war that is going on. So once this particular summit happens, virtual summit happens today, we'll see that what the Prime Minister has said here. Now moving on. Okay, so this particular article is again taken from the Hindu newspaper. Protest against the move to shift proposed heritage park in Manipur. Now guys, in this particular article, we are going to see the one geographical location which could be important for our prelims examination, as we see that from the past few years, every year the places in news, some confirm question, 3-4 questions are coming. Even this year, the question around the places in news have been asked. So what we are going to discuss here, guys, I'll tell you first of all what has happened. It concerns the Kebul Lamjoy National Park of Manipur. Now the proposal have been given by the Manipur government that they are going to shift this Kebul Lamjoy National Park to a nearby site. And because of this particular thing, what has happened, the environmentalist, the youth, fine, they are protesting that it will ecologically disastrous. Such kind of thing should not be done. The government is doing this particular thing just to give a boost to the tourism and all such kind of thing, but the ecology at the same time is also important. So the shifting of the National Kebul Lamjoy National Park has invited the protest. So let's see the geographical locations here. Now guys, first of all, when we talk about this Kebul Lamjoy National Park, it is situated in Manipur, and it is the world's only floating national park. Now this particular national park is situated on the Loktak Lake. Here you can see. Now guys, actually the Loktak Lake is unique because it houses many of such floating island type of vegetations, and within these floating structures that they are there, one of the biggest floating structure is actually the Kebul Lamjoy National Park. So it is a floating national park, it floats. Now guys, these floating materials, they are locally called as the fumdis. So the Kebul Lamjoy National Park is also a kind of a fumdi that is within the Loktak Lake. Now guys, this particular Kebul Lamjoy National Park was created initially in 1966 as the wildlife sanctuary, and then it got elevated to the national park. Now Kebul Lamjoy National Park, which is a floating one, it was developed to preserve the endangered Eld's deer. Now guys, this Eld's deer, it has many other names also. It is called as Eld's deer, it is also called as the brown altered deer, sometimes it is also called as a sangai, it is also called as a dancing deer. So dancing deer, sangai, altered deer, Eld's deer, all are the same. Now this particular deer, it has been added into the IUCN red list. It has been IUCN red list because their numbers are going down very fastly. Now guys, it has been provided that actually a lot of poaching, etc. Just a minute. Yes. So over the past few years, it has been seen that a lot of poaching has happened, and the numbers of these bro-altered deer, it has been reduced to just 300. And because of that, even in the IUCN Red List, it has been given the status of endangered. IUCN Red List, it has been given the status of endangered. Now, as they large numbers are found into the Cable Limjoy National Park, if it will be shifted, the focus from these deers will be shifted, which will not be beneficial for their conservation. Fine. Now guys, let's talk a little bit about this Loktak Lake also, within which with this Cable Limjoy National Park is situated. So guys, the Loktak Lake, it is very important. Why? Because of certain reasons. Number one, that it has been designated as the wetland of international importance under the Ramsar Convention. So this is an important thing. Then guys, the second thing is that this particular Loktak Lake is also listed under the Montreux record. Now what is this Montreux record? Basically guys, it is a record of the Ramsar sites. It is the list of the Ramsar sites where the ecological characters have been changed, whose ecological characters have been changed, or who will get changed into the future. Why they are getting changed? Because of the human intrusions, pollution and all such kind of things. And guys, the third important of the Loktak Lake is that it contains these floating vegetations, fundis, which makes it unique. Okay, it is a very huge lake, fine, and it is a freshwater lake. So these are certain points which you need to remember for the prelims examination. Question can be asked. Now that is all guys about this particular article. I hope that you have understood it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Okay, again this article is taken from the Hindu newspaper, page number 1. Here the article says that the new corals have been recorded from the Indian waters. So again guys, with respect to the prelims, environment and ecology related questions, this particular this particular news could be important. So environment, ecology, specifically for the prelims examination, we are going to see here. Now guys, before going in this particular article, I would like to tell you some of the basics which will help you to understand exactly that what has happened. So before going in the article, let's talk about some of the basic concepts. Now guys, you all might have heard this word corals. Now first of all, what are the corals? The colorful corals, many pictures you might have seen that the scuba divers, they are going and they are actually exploring these colorful structures. Okay, so basically what are the corals? So guys, corals are the marine invertebrate animals. Okay, marine invertebrate animals. Invertebrate means that they don't have the full developed spine. Now guys, these marine invertebrate animals, they belong to the class of animals called as Cnidaria. They belong to the class of animals called as Cnidaria. So the corals are the marine invertebrate animals that are found usually into the shallow waters, sometimes little bit into the mid deep waters they are also found. Now guys, the corals, sometimes these corals, they get attached together and they actually make the coral reefs. They make the coral reefs. Now understand these particular things guys, that all the corals, they are not reef building. Only specific type of corals, they are the reef building. Now what is a reef? Reef is a giant structure that they make. Now guys, there are certain species of coral, fine, which actually lives in the tropical oceans and they secrete the calcium carbonate. And as they secrete the calcium carbonate, it acts as a cementing factor, and only these corals, they will be making these reef type of structures. Okay, fine. Now guys, the corals, they die, fine, they are left over there, then the new corals come, they take a place. Over the period of time, the coral reef will become very much big. Okay, so this is a coral reef. Now guys, when we talk about in India, there are the coral reefs that are found are in the waters of Gulf of Kutch, Gulf of Mannar, Pak Bay, Andaman and Nicobar Island, Lakshadweep Island. Is it clear or not? Okay. So this is something. And one more important fact I'm going to tell you, very important. Basically, when we talk about the Gulf of Kutch, now the Gulf of Kutch around the Gujarat, it is some of the most northerly reefs in the world. Now guys, I told you that the reefs are basically majorly found around the tropical regions. So basically most northern reefs are the reefs of the Gulf of Kutch. Even earlier the question have been asked that around which area the coral reefs are found in UPSC prelims. So all these are the areas where the coral reefs in India are found. Now guys, I told you that basically the coral reefs are there. Now guys, from where the colorful basically these corals, they are not originally so much colorful. So from where the color comes? So guys, here there is one more partner of the corals that makes an entry. So guys, the corals in the shallow wet water, usually they live with a microscopic algae. Now this microscopic algae is called as the zooxanthellae. So basically what happens, there is a symbiotic relation. Symbiotic relation means beneficial for both. So basically there are the corals, there are the zooxanthellae. Both of them, they live together most of the times. What is the benefit? Basically zooxanthellae, it provides the food to the corals, as well as the zooxanthellae, it provides the brilliant colors to the corals. At the same time, the corals, they support the zooxanthellae, they give them a place to live, they give them a shelter, they keep them safe. So the corals are keeping the zooxanthellae safe, they are giving them the shelter. Zooxanthellae in turn give them the food, give them their vibrant colors. You can read this particular thing. They share a symbiotic relationship, means beneficial for both. The algae has a photosynthesis abilities which feed the corals, and the carbon compounds are given to the corals. In return, the corals provide them protection. Then guys, moving on. Now basically when we talk about the corals, most of the time they are living with the zooxanthellae. This association is very much important. Now what has happened in this particular article, basically the scientists, they have recorded the species of corals for the first time, which are actually azooxanthellae corals. Azooxanthellae corals. Now this word is important, that is the azooxanthellae corals. Now it means that these kind of corals are not living in association with the zooxanthellae. Is it clear? So therefore they are different. Okay. Now guys, where they have been found, this is also important. They have been found around the waters of the Andaman and Nicobar Island. Now guys, when we talk about azooxanthellae corals, they are the ones corals which don't contain zooxanthellae, and but now the question comes that from where they will derive their nutrition, because the zooxanthellae was giving them the nutrition originally. So basically what they do, they derive their nutrition not from them, but they capture the different forms of planktons. Okay, so planktons are the creatures that are found into the water. So they buy the planktons, they get their food. Moreover guys, there is also one more difference between the zooxanthellae corals and the azooxanthellae corals. Basically these azooxanthellae corals, they are found into the large depth, from 200 meters to 1000 meters they are found, but the normal zooxanthellae corals, they are not found in such deep waters. Up to 200 meters usually they are found. Now guys, this new species that have been found, it will enhance the national database of biological resources that the India is having. So it enhances the diversity of India that we are having. So guys, this is all about it. So zooxanthellae, azooxanthellae. Okay, I hope that you have understood the difference, and right now these azooxanthellae have been found. Now moving to the next article. Okay, now guys, this particular editorial is talking about the BJP's presidential candidate that now they have announced. So guys, first of all, I will say that the ruling government had played really a master stroke. Okay, now basically what had happened, the opposition and the ruling party both are keeping forward their presidential candidates. Okay, and it has become more of a it has become more of a symbolic fight that is going on between them. Now the ruling party, they have said that they will be nominating the Draupadi Murmu as their candidate for the president. Now guys, the Draupadi Murmu, she has a very good track record. She belongs actually to the tribal community of the Odisha, and now basically indicating that Draupadi Murmu will be nominated as a presidential candidate. It has a lot of symbolic messages. What symbolic messages are there? Just please listen to it. Number one message that is being given is that in the 75th year of independence, a tribal president is going to precede the former president who actually belongs to the Dalit community. Okay, so a tribal president preceding electing a president who belong to the Dalit community, it shows that government is caring for the marginalized sections. This is a symbolic message that has been given. Second symbolic message that has been given is that basically now this now the Draupadi Murmu is going to be the second women president. She is going to be the second women president. So the women empowerment is also being shown here. Moreover, she is aged 64 years and she is going to be the youngest president into the country's history. So basically this is also a new symbolism that has been shown here. Moreover, guys, when we talk about the Miss Draupadi Murmu, fine, she belongs to the Santhal tribe. She belongs to the Santhal tribe of Odisha. Is it clear or not? She has been she has earlier been a teacher, then she was actively into the politics. She had also been she has also been the governor of the Jharkhand between 2005 to 2021. So basically this symbolism has been attached with the new presidential nomination that have been given by the ruling party. In opposition, basically they have proposed the name of Yashwant Sinha, who is not having much of a credible record, in place of Miss Draupadi Murmu that has been appointed. Okay, so this is a brief update that is there, and if everything goes right, which will go, and it is now completely, it is nearly confirmed that she is going to be the next president. That is all about it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, the role of caste in economic transformation of India. The role of caste in the economic transformation of India. This particular article, guys, we are going to see with respect to the GS paper number 2 as well as GS paper number 3. So, social justice within the GS paper number 2 and caste and economy. Caste and economy, how they are related within the GS paper number 3. We'll see this thing. Now, let's start the discussion on this particular article. Now, guys, this particular article first of all starts with the premise that right now we see that in India there is a lot of agitations, a lot of protests that are going on. Article says that these protests are because of the reason that right now the jobless economic growth is there in India. The youth, they are not employed, they don't have economic security, and they are getting involved into this agitation. Fine. It says that we see first of all there is the Agnipath program right now for which the protest is going on. Last year the farm laws were there for which the protest was there. Before that there were the agitations for reservation by many of the communities. For example, in the Gujarat the Patidars, in the Haryana Jats. Fine, such kind of agitations for reservations were going on. Now, guys, this article says that actually the caste, fine, is related to the economic transformation. Fine, the caste is related to the economic transformation, and economic transformation is related to the stability of a country. Clear? Now let's see this particular thing. Basically, guys, what is the link between the caste and economy? So the article says that there is a deep link between the caste and economy. First of all, the caste, it has the social control. Caste has a social control. How the caste has a social control? Basically, the caste groups, they have a specific type of mobility attached to them. The high caste, they have the high mobility. Whatever work they want, they can do. Whatever profession they want to go, they can go. Low caste, they don't have much of mobility. For example, only specific type of jobs, specific type of works, they are allowed. And when they don't have the physical mobility, when they don't have mobility to choose their profession, their economic mobility gets restricted. Barriers come in between their way. Second, guys, that basically in India the caste is also connected with the land ownership. Basically, the lands have largely been belonged to the upper caste people such as the Thakurs, etc. So the caste also determines the land ownership of the people. It also determines the accessibility of capital that you are having. The higher caste people, they have access to more land, they have access to more contacts, okay, and by that opportunities, capital, they belong to them. Then third, guys, thing is that the caste also regulates the political social capital also. Fine, your entry into the politics is now purely determined by the caste. The success in the politics is determined by the caste and all such kind of things. Now, guys, it has been provided that because of all these particular factors, in India the three things have emerged. In India the three developments have emerged. Number one development is that in India there is a lot of land inequality. Why there is a lot of land inequality? Because obviously the land belongs to the higher caste people, and many a times they have not been successful in using that particular land to the optimal capacity. Productivity has failed. Then second thing says that there is an elite bias in the higher education. In the higher education, largest proportion is of the people who belong to the higher caste or the upper caste. So there is an elite bias that is there. So therefore, the mass education has not become possible. The large population of the lower caste people, they have still not got enrolled into the higher education sectors. Third thing that has developed is that there is a caste based entry barrier even into the modern sector. Is it clear or not? Now, how? I'll explain this particular thing. A very simple link is there. See, the modern sectors, which are they? Modern sectors are the ones where the technology is the major theme. Now guys, if you want to get entry into the modern sector, the sector where the technology is a major theme, obviously you need to have high order skills, you need to have a high order education. Now the high order skill and education have been a monopoly only of the upper caste majorly. Lower caste people, lower middle caste people, they have not been able to afford the high end skills as well as the high end education, and therefore their entry into the tech industry, modern skill industry has been very much restricted. Now moving on, basically guys, the economist find since the 1980s they have emphasized that every economy needs the human capital's development for the transition. Fine, but guys, what has they need the productive human capital, and the productive human capital can only be attained by the education, training, fine, giving them rich experiences, etc. Now it has been provided that actually when we talk about the countries such as the global the basically when we talks about the countries into the south which have attained the inclusive growth, which had attained the economic growth, all have done only because they have actually pulled up the lower section of the society. Fine, they have successfully carried the land reforms, they have successfully carried the reforms in their human capital, they have invested into the infrastructure, they have invested in the capitalism from below, they have started industrialization into the rural sector. But India had failed on all of these aspects. We have not been successful in bringing the land reform, we have not been successful in developing our human capital. Still in higher sector the enrollment is very much less, particularly lower societies segments are not properly represented. While rural sector, still our rural sector is characterized by the agriculture, small scale cottage industries, big ticket industrial projects are missing from here. Now guys, it has been provided that when we talk about India, in India, unequal distribution of land was started by the Britishers. Britishers saw certain people as the landowning classes and certain people just as the poor peasants. Only the landowning classes, the Thakurs, etc., they were given the land, and therefore the land inequality came in India. Now guys, even when India after independence tried to bring the land reforms, the land redistribution, when India tried to bring, even at that point of a time we failed to include the Dalits and the lower caste, they got excluded. Even when the next intervention into the agriculture, that is the Green Revolution, when it was made around 1960s, at that point of a time Green Revolution did not brought a change in the farm sector. It was only a technological intervention. The land patterns, the land holdings, etc., were not touched even here. Now guys, the economic reform of the 1990s was a very important moment into the history of India. Now during this particular time we saw that the farm lobby lost its power. Okay, now guys, understand, into the other countries, particularly of the South Asia, what has happened, the people earlier worked into the farm sector. From the farm sector they generated wealth, that particular wealth they used for going into the industrialization. But in India it never happened. In India there were the people who made surplus into the farm sector, but they could not go into the capitalism. Fine, they were not able to go into the entrepreneurship, they were not able to explore the modern sector. What were the reason was that basically the education was neglected. Okay, the historical neglect of education was there, entry barriers were there, so this was the reason. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that even in education, the neglect, the ignorance that has been there, it is also an outcome of the Britishers always had an elite bias with respect to the education. Even the Britishers believed that only few sections of the society needs to be given education. Education was not actually meant for the masses. Britishers gave education so that the people can work for the Britishers, and only few people were thought to be desirable. Masses were excluded, and this particular thing is still going on. Today our constitution has guaranteed the free and compulsory education. We have article number 21A. Even in the DPSP, the article number 45 is talking about education. Okay, but guys, still the education to the masses have not been reached. At the same time, the Chinese, other East Asian countries, they have invested heavily into the basic education. Fine, they have first of all invested in basic education, then they moved to the promotion of higher education, and first basic then higher education. At the end of the day, their human capital got transformed and they were able to achieve a lot of economic benefit. But in India, still we got tangled into the caste and all these kind of things, and basically it has become a kind of an obstruction in the economic progress of India. So this is all, guys, the issues that have been talked in this particular article. A very good article. I hope that you have understood it, and now we'll move to the next article. Okay, this article again taken from the editorial section of the Hindu. The article says that heal the nation before healing the rest of the world. Heal the nation before healing the rest of the world. So guys, with respect to the GS paper number 2, health, we are going to see this particular article. Okay, GS paper number 2, health. Now first of all, guys, what this particular article, it is giving a critical assessment of a recent initiative that was launched, that is Heal by India initiative. Now first of all, I'll tell you what this Heal by India initiative was all about, and then we'll see the critical assessment. So guys, this Heal by India initiative, under here, government is trying to create an online database. Government is trying to create an online database or an online repository where the names and the details of all the doctors, nurses, paramedics, okay, pharmacists, it will be put. What is the logic? What is the reason? How or it is going to help? So basically understand this thing, guys, that actually there are a large number of external stakeholders. For example, there are the foreign employers, there are the patients, okay, who want to have the services of the Indian doctors, Indian nurses. They want to employ the Indian doctors, Indian nurses. They want the pharmacists. So what can happen? The foreign employers, the foreign stakeholders, through this Heal by India database, can identify the human resource they want, and then they can bring them in their own countries. Even in this particular database, along with the details of the doctors, nurses, paramedics, their preference have been given, that okay, which foreign country they want to go, in which foreign country they want to work. So guys, you can say that it is just a database of the medical staff which will be used by the foreign stakeholders in case if they want to hire these people, if in case they want to take their service. This is the Heal by India initiative. Now guys, it has been said that okay, this is good, but why there is a need of such kind of an initiative? It is not a kind of a very wise thing that has been done by government. This article is criticizing this particular initiative. Now why it is criticizing? Let's see this particular thing. And guys, the critical evaluation is actually very important. In GS paper number 2, directly it is mentioned that the critical evaluation of government schemes is a part of our syllabus. Now let's see. So article says that actually the WHO in 2020 provided this thing, that immediately in India there is a requirement of nearly 2 million more doctors and nursing professionals so that India can achieve the minimum threshold ratio of healthcare professionals to the population. Is it clear or not? There is a shortage of 2 million doctors and the nursing staff in India. We now in this particular case, you are creating this Heal by India initiative, and you are trying to export the human resource to the foreign countries into the category of medical. Now why such kind of a thing is logical? We still have the shortage, so such a thing is not very much needed. Secondly, guys, it has been said that when we talk about the healthcare personals, number one, there is a shortage. Secondly, their skills are very much skewed. Their skills are oriented towards specific domain. Okay, number of general physicians is actually very much less, and you thinking to export the human resource talent to the foreign countries is not a very wise step. Thirdly, guys, it has been said that see, not only we have shortage, not only we have skewed skills set into the health professionals, but at the same time there are large number of healthcare professionals who remain inactive and they are the outside the labor force. Now guys, a few days back I had explained you that what does the labor force participation rate means, or what is the definition of labor force. So in the labor force, the people who are employed, people who are available for work, and the people who are seeking the work, these three groups will be coming. Now, I'll give you one example of this particular thing. See guys, there are large number of doctors, there are the large number of nurses who had completed their degrees, but they are preparing for UPSC, they are preparing for other exam. So if you are a doctor preparing for the UPSC, what has happened, you are an inactive healthcare professional. Is it clear? And there are large number of such inactive healthcare professionals. Clear? And in this particular thing, out migration will further worsen the situation. Is it clear? And moreover, it is being said that this online repository will be marginally helpful. If somebody wants such kind of doctors, fine, they can go into the they can go out and they can easily find them through the placement agencies, through the direct indirect contacts. Why there is a need of such kind of a repository? So it has been said that rather than such kind of an unnecessary initiatives, government need to focus more on the disparities in the health sector, the shortage of the manpower that is there, the ways how to bring the manpower to the fore, how to bring the manpower to work into the rural sectors. These are certain things that government need to more focus upon rather than this Heal by India initiative. So guys, I hope that you have understood it. And now we'll move to the next article. Now, towards a single low tax regime. Now, this particular article, guys, will be important for GS paper number 3. GS paper number 3, economic reforms. Economic reforms. Now, this particular article is talking about that there is an urgent need for reforming the GST setup in our country. Now, guys, when we talk about the GST, it stands for goods and services tax. Now, within the GST's purview, within the GST purviews, almost all the major indirect taxes at the level of center as well as state have been subsumed. Still, there are certain items which are not within the GST. For example, the petrol, diesel is not within the GST, the liquors, they are not within the GST. But majorly, most of the things have been consumed already into the GST. We said that we want to make our taxation system simple. We want to make it more efficient. We wanted to increase the compliance. But guys, at the same time, India's GST happens to be one of the most complicated tax regime of the world. Why it is complicated? It is because of the multiple tax slabs that we have imposed. Is it clear or not? We have tax slabs at the rate of 5%, at the rate of 12%, at the rate of 18%, then we have at the rate of 28%. Multiple tax slabs are there. Now guys, many a times there is a problem of interpretation where a particular item is going. Fine, for example, if there is chapati, now the chapati will be taxed separately, but at the same time, if you make paratha, it will be taxed separately. If you make pizza, it will be taxed separately. Clear? Fine. Chocolate will be taxed at a different rate. However, chocolate with the wafer will be taxed at a different rate. Is it clear or not? So a lot of basically interpretation problems are there, multiple taxes are there, all these kind of things are there. So what has happened today, the tax GST, it has become a source of new harassment. Fine, it is bringing a lot of litigations. Article suggests that we need to follow KISS principle. What is KISS principle? Keep it simple, stupid. Now, what is this KISS? It says that why you have made the tax structure so much complicated. We need to have a unified single tax. Now it is said that you need to have only two tax rates, 0% tax, or one more tax rate, could be 10%, 12%, anything. It means that you need to have only one tax rate at the rate of 10 to 12% where certain goods are provided, and anything which is not here in this particular list, it means it is exempted from the GST. So bring only one tax rate and include everything there only. Whatever is not there, it is exempted from GST. We need to have such a simple kind of a tax structure. Is it clear? And therefore, we need to bring the bold, clear economic reforms. We need to have a political will for bringing such kind of thing. Here guys, an example has been given. For example, if there is a 300 room 5-star hotel, now this particular 5-star hotel is generating a lot of direct as well as indirect employment. It has a coffee shop, it has a restaurant, it has a gift shop, it has a spa, it has other recreational activities. It is creating so much of employment, so much of spending is being done here. But if the hotel room is there in a 5-star hotel, the tax rate of 28% is being charged. charged, which actually discourages. Now you don't need to have such complicated and high tax rates, rather than keep it at marginal level and simplify it. This is something that is needed. Now guys, it has been said that the KISS principle, keep it simple principle, has helped in many of the sectors. For example guys, in the aviation sector today, if you take the example of Indigo, for example, Indigo is comparatively one of the most successful airline of India. Now, what is the category to which the Indigo belongs? Indigo belongs to the low cost airline model. Now, what is this low cost airline model? Guys, here the operations are very much simple. Now, there are no freebies. Fine, there will be food, other freebies, goodies, etc. will not be there. There will be only one class, a single class seating will be there, point to point travel will be there, direct internet booking will be there. So as the low cost airlines operate on a simple method, that is just they are the carriers, they will be transferring you from one point to another point. No fancy facilities, no fancy goodies, no such kind of things. What had happened, they have emerged very much efficient and they are actually making profit. So basically it has been said that if you keep things simple, fine, at the end of the day they become more efficient, and therefore in order to bring more tax compliance, we need to bring the simplicity even into the GST regime. Is it clear or not? So that is something which have been provided. Now guys, I hope that you understood this article, and now we'll move to the next article. Now, Modi to attend G7 summit in Germany. So guys, at this weekend, our Prime Minister is going to attend the G7 summit, the Group of Seven summit, okay, which is the group of the industrialized developed nations. Fine. So guys, now the special invite has been given to the Prime Minister, and he will be joining the Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, US, and the EU. Now guys, when he will be joining this particular G7 summit, at that point of a time we'll see what has happened, what is the statement, what are the issues that have come. But you need to understand, even before this summit begins, what is the reason that the Prime Minister has been invited. Guys, the reason is simple, that is the Russia Ukraine war that is right now going on. In this Russia-Ukraine war, India has not categorically condemned Russia even till now. And the Western countries, the G7 countries, they want the support of India, that India should condemn the Russia. They want that India should not go for the import of the oil from the Russia. We have started the rupee ruble arrangement. Under the rupee ruble arrangement, we are importing the oil from Russia and we are paying in the terms of rupee. So West doesn't want such kind of a thing. West wants a clear condemnation of the Russia, and for that particular thing, the Prime Minister has been invited. Now we need to see as when it will start, that what has happened. Till then, you don't need to go into the details. Once it will happen, we'll see all these particular thing. So that is all guys about it. I hope you have understood it, and that is all about the relevant articles into the today's newspapers. Okay, so we have discussed it along with the background. I hope that you are understanding all these particular things. So guys, that is all for today, and as we said, we have completed our newspaper by the 7 a.m., which is actually a very big achievement for you guys, because guys, once you do this particular thing, okay, right away into the morning, it gives you a boost, it gives you a motivation. You feel motivated for your entire day, that yes, I have done something. Guys, just I'll share something. Fine, there is one particular principle, that is eat that frog, eat that frog. Now what is that eat that frog? Basically it says that if there is some biggest task that you have to do, if there is something that is important but you don't like it, do that thing right away in the morning. Now the frog is an ugly thing. If you have to eat a frog, eat the frog right away in the morning. Now reading the newspaper is just like eating the frog for a UPSC aspirant. They know that it is important, but I don't know why they are hesitant. They are fearful. Fine. So what they do, they are thinking that, okay, I'll read the paper in the noon, I'll read it in the evening. Then they say that, okay, today's paper have been missed, I'll read it from tomorrow. So they are postponing to eat this frog. But this is not the right way. You'll never be able to do that. So what is the best strategy? Eat the frog right away in the morning. And this is the objective of this particular newspaper analysis of, so that we are this is the reason that we are having it right away 6 in the morning. So by the 7 now you are free. Guys, keep learning, enjoy your day. Thank you so much. And if you have liked the video, please do hit a like button. Thank you so much.